You know, it took 2 engineering degrees to repair the Brooklyn Bridge and 22 years of his landlording experience for Al to become the world's first landlord scientist. And now he uses his engineering skills to help investors like us to make more income. Al's best known for optimizing his 8-unit, replacing his salary for financial freedom. Is that what we're all here for? Okay. The father of the extended stay Airbnb, all the way from Sacramento, California. Please welcome Al Williamson to Toledo RIA.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Oh, we got my microphone.
Yep.
Hey there, online audience. I want to get to know you guys a little bit. Tell me, my landlords, can I see you? Got a lot of you, great. So here's my big promise. I'm gonna help you guys 3 to 7x your net income before I leave. All right? How about folks who don't have a single rental? Guys? All right. I'm gonna help you guys who don't have anything just skip over the well-worn path and just start making money before I'm done, okay? Anyone want to leave their job? Anyone? Has a life-sucking job that's just taking all the energy out of you? Okay, so we're going to talk about replacing that income today as well. If you want to leave your job, you got to get out a piece of paper. You got to get out paper, guys. You guys going to take some notes? Okay, get out some paper. If you want to leave your job, write, Dear boss, I quit, and we're going to sign that by the end of the day. All right? So the reason I say you can do all of those things is because of this. Because $32 billion is spent on business travel. $32 billion is spent on business travel. Would a little bit of that help you guys? A sliver of that? Yeah. And there's 55 million essential workers in the United States moving around. And you hear about travel nurses, but they only make up 30%. There's another 70% I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. Right? That's going to give you the ability to do all those things, to 5x your net income, to leave your job, to skip over. If you don't have anything, you can just start making money. So before I do all this, I want to show you my background. This is my 8-unit apartment building. This is where it all happened. I had to save up a lot of money for this at the time. It was a lot for me. It took me 5 years to save it all up. And fortunately, it produces over $8,000. And can you turn down my gain? It puts out over $8,000 a month. So that was enough to cover our expenses at home. And I left my engineering job. That's how we did it, off of one complex. Okay? And then we were doing this corporate housing thing, so I started talking to other landlords and just talking about, hey, this is what I'm doing, these are the people I'm serving, can I use one of your units, can I operate out of one of your places? And he agreed, and I was up and going, no down payment, no struggle, no skipping lunches, no fights with the wife, just up and going and with the master lease. And that produced out over $800 a month, $832 per month. Same thing, here's a mom and pop landlord. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath, just a regular place, regular place. Told them what I was doing. They agreed that they understood the benefits of me inspecting it and taking care of the place. I was essentially a manager who's managing the place and paying them. So it was a little reversal. This one puts out $887 a month. Those are about the same, the numbers. And this one is a professional management company. It's a small complex, maybe 30 units, and it puts out $868 per month. So one of my mentors said, you know, you stand up here, you got to be transparent. Shouldn't have anything to hide. So these are my numbers. So the things I own, the rentals I own, all the properties, brings about $10,783 per month. And then I operate some as well, and that brings in over $7,000 a month. So that's what I do. And so I own some and I operate some. Own some and operate some, and so does the Marriott. That's exactly how they operate. Okay? They own very few. You guys drive past Marriotts here in Toledo? They don't own a single one of them. They own 5 in Las Vegas. Okay? Not a single one of them. They own some and operate some. So that's the way that the hospitality industry works. So I started telling other people about what I was doing, and some people approached me about, can you help me out? And this is Derek, he's a science teacher, and teachers need to get paid more, right? Yeah. So he started doing the same thing and making over $500. He started paying off his debts, and now he's paying towards vacations, all debt-free. $500 can do a lot, can do an awful lot. We'll be talking about that. You guys interested in this, what I'm talking about? About the right numbers? Does it sound doable? All right. Let me back up here so I can see what my code here. All right, so we're going to be talking about why landlords will give you control of their property. Why will they do that? We're going to talk about that, and how you can make 4 figures of passive cash flow in just 4 months without going crazy. That's really important. The stress part of making money is you got to take that into account. And also, how anyone can do this without any money. I know that sounds crazy, right? That means you guys can all do it, right? Without any money, no bank loans, all right? And just get up and going. And I'm going to let you guys grill me on that part of it. You guys heard of this company? Seen this before? Airbnb, right? Has anyone used it? Are there any Airbnb hosts? The one in the back? No? Okay. So we're not going to talk about Airbnb that much. This is my full funnel. It's a full funnel, just like I'm a business. I'm a small hotel. And that's how we market. Airbnb is included, yep, but it's not the entire thing. Okay? So people ask me, well, if it's not Al, then how do you market? And let me walk you through it. We do it through Google. Right? Google gets about 95% of the internet traffic, yes? So if you don't have it's like the Yellow Pages, right? If you don't have a presence on the Yellow Pages, you're essentially not a business. So you got to have Google presence. So we go through Google, then people come to our website, and then they flows through, and we have a conversation, myself or my team members have a conversation. We find out what they need, when they need it, if they have a pet or things like that. And then we show them everything that we have available during that time that they're coming. And if there's a good fit, then we take them right on in. What we do when we're showing them, here it is, the secret sauce. I know you guys came looking for that, so I want to make sure I said it. It's a one-page website. That's really it. We have a one-page website for every unit. Okay? And then we show them what we have available. We send them an email with a bunch of links to it. And they look through that, and they find what works for them. And then we take them in. The key about the website is it answers all their questions. That's the key. That's the strategy behind it. And that's really the main thing, that if you answer all their questions, then they can make a decision, and they'll keep booking with you. So why do all this work when Airbnb is so easy? Why not just do Airbnb? It's because you cannot sell your Airbnb business. You can't sell it. Terms of service 4, you can't sell it. If you're going to transfer, you can sell your furniture, but Airbnb considers it fraud if you're trying to transfer it, because they do a background check on you, and they want you to shut it down and let the other person bring it back up. They want to do a background check on the other. You can't sell your Airbnb business. All those reviews that you get, hosts, are property of Airbnb. You can't sell something that's not yours. The customers are theirs as well. But going this way that I'm sharing with you, you can sell this business, right? That's why you want to get high Google rankings so that you really have something that you can sell. That's typical sales on the low end is 3 times the annual income revenue, right? So going this way is hundreds of thousands of dollars difference than just being an Airbnb host. So we're not talking about being an Airbnb host. You guys good with that? All right. So here's the law in Toledo. Let's take a look at that and what it says. You guys are kind of wide open for what you can do. But I like definitions, because you got to go to definitions to find out what you're doing. And here, so we're talking about Toledo, looking at your definitions, and let's take a blow up of this and take a closer look at that. And it says right there what a short-term rental is. It has all these different things. It says it's being rented for 30 consecutive days and less. That's a short-term rental. You guys, we're good? And if you are using a lease agreement or go over, say you go 31 days, what are you then? You're not a short-term rental anymore, right? What are you then? What's that? Apartment? I can't get you, RJ. What are you saying? Apartment house. Anyone else? We have a different set of rules. We agree with that. All these rules don't apply. If you're 31 days and longer, we all on the same page? Okay? We're something different animal. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about 31 days and longer. Everything you know about short-term rentals doesn't apply. And we're not going to be talking about so much Airbnb. We're going to be talking about doing it as a business owner. We all tracking? All right. So this is for people who want to put in the work and follow a plan. I'm an engineer. Anyone else an engineer? We got engineers? I'm the only one. Got one back here. We got Joshua. You're an engineer. Eric? Eric? Yeah. So we have to put together good plans. Otherwise, typically people die for a lot of engineering. You know, if the plans are wobbly. So I put together a really good plan for you. So also, if you want to do something you may be an entrepreneur, you just want something that's a couple of hours a week, not more than that. That's what we're talking about. And also, if you want to be able to focus on something, and if you're doing something for work that you don't love, and you want to do things that you're meant to do, this is for you. And private lenders, this is for private lenders as well. You guys might have just a few dollars that you can deploy. I'm going to show you how to do that. All right? So this is me. I'm up and back. COVID shut me down for a while. I'm back out and talking about landlord science. And that's kind of the study of how new technologies to reduce expenses and to bring in income. My daughter, she asked me, well, what do I tell people you do? And we came up with it. I help people make 3 to 5 times more than a traditional landlord, whether they own property or not. That's my job description. And I'm round and about talking to people. This is an exciting topic for me. And I have 29, as of this month, 29 clustered in Sacramento. I'm not all over the place. I just like to focus. And been training folks since 2014. So I've been at it for a minute, made a lot of mistakes, seen a lot of mistakes. Yeah. But it wasn't always so easy. This is the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. And I was in charge of a project to take care of the problems down here under the water. Just after they built it, there were some problems. It was a very high-profile project, way over budget, very stressful project. That was a highlight. You guys know Al Capone, Alcatraz? This is Alcatraz Island. I was in charge of putting solar panels on the top of the roof, and even where the famous breakout was, we marked that historical project back in 2011, 2012. And this is Yosemite. It's another highlight for me. We put cages in these caves, so bats could come in and out, but people couldn't get in. So those were the highlights, but most of the time it was this. Most of the time it was just training, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't stand it most of the time. And then performance reviews. My boss, every year, my boss would sit me down and, what do you see yourself in 5 years? And now I'm confronted with the fact that I'm doing something I wasn't meant to do. I was okay at it, and I did it for the money, but now I had to tell a lie that I knew was a lie and tell them, oh, I want your job. I want to move up the ladder. I didn't want to move up the ladder. I didn't want their life. I didn't want anything like that. But I knew I was settling. When it came out of my mouth, I knew I was settling because I didn't have a plan. I didn't know how to get out of it. All this money was spent on my education. People were proud to introduce me as Al the engineer, and I didn't know how to get out. The money was good. I had golden handcuffs on. But I knew I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing what I was created to do. Even, I was commuting all the time. All the time, I was away from the house. I was in hotels, running around. And it was Father's Day, and my daughter decided not to celebrate. No Father's Day card for my oldest. And I was she went out to dinner with us. I thought I was a good provider, but she was letting me know I wasn't a good dad. And this happened 2 years in a row because I didn't have the emotional, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to change. I thought I was providing for them, and she just wanted my butt home, and she wanted my time. So that's where I was, but it got worse than that because I was working with contractors, and they are brutally honest. Cruel can be cruel. See, I was driving and commuting, and I was stressed out. I was feeling this like a spider web of stress on me, in my chest, and I was, comfort food. I was going through the drive-thrus, and I was getting a little fat. And my full name is Albert. So I was being called Fat Albert to my face, and it was true at work. Then I drive home, and my daughter's failing algebra, and I used to teach algebra, and my wife's upset, and it just was really, I was going in the wrong direction, and I didn't know how to get out of it. I was a landlord since '96. I was buying things and fixing them up well, and geeking out about how well I was doing with that, but the maintenance eats you up. I think landlords don't talk about that nearly enough. The maintenance costs you make a little profit, and it just wipes you out when the roof leaks or the roots get caught into the sewer line or you need a paint job. Does that happen here? It's like living with a pickpocket, right? Make a little money and it's gone. And it got bad because my wife confronted me. She was like, we haven't been on vacation in 5 years. Why can't we go? And I was using my salary from my engineering job to kind of offset my maintenance costs for my rentals. She said, we have all these rentals. Why can't we go and do anything? And I had to say, it's because we have all these rentals. We can't do anything. And that was really it. That's what really snapped for me. It was like traditional landlording wasn't working for me. It's like brought the taste of spoiled milk. That's what I think about traditional landlording. It wasn't working. The cash flow would work, but the maintenance wiped me out. So what I found by talking to our landlords, typically, what it really is about $100 per month per door. Is that the same here? No. Is more? A lot more? After expenses? Wow. Well, you guys are definitely, the property's not free and clear. Is it free and clear? I won't do a property even with a mortgage with at least $500. Oh, wow. So it's different. Most places are this. But it's great. I'm glad it's good news. So I want to take you, if it's 500, I want to show you how to make it into 1,500. I want to show you how to triple the net income of what you got. You guys good with that? We on the same page? We're all here to increase our cash flow? All right. So I had this investment. I was putting money in, but I wanted this business. That's what I'm really trying to get. It's something to pay me. And I had to do some thinking, what kind of business do I want? I want something that's passive. We're all passive cash flow junkies? Good, good. And then it's got to be scalable. So that's what I wanted to do. And then it had to be, I was failing as a dad. I didn't have any time, so I wanted to be less than 2 hours a week. And then it had to be no employees, because I messed that up. I've been told I'm too flirtatious, and I'm way over. What I think is just good fun, it's just way over the line. So no employees. And then I wanted to be able to sell the business, right? Because wealth comes from what you own, not what you do. It had to be something that could get this geometric increase, just like your property. It had to go up in value. So I wanted to be able to sell it. So I started with some cash flow goals, and let's do an exercise here. A mentor of mine said, write down some cash flow goals, the first step you do. So I want you guys to think about how much cash flow you want, net income, you want hitting your bank account in the next 6 months and out, okay? And think about that number, what it is, and I want you to say it out loud at the count of 3, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, good. I think hear this side more than that side. You know, that exercise, before I would never say anything. I didn't understand that you have to speak cash flow into existence. I didn't know that, and I was too shy, and I was too passive, and that cost me. It really did, that exercise. Because I want you guys to do this exercise, and I want you not to say anything, not to say anything. I want you to say, I'm getting richer every day just in your head. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You guys all do it? Did you hear it? That was your subconscious. And that's what keeps you safe and keeps you exactly where you are. If you're broke, it keeps you broke. If you're making a certain amount of money, it keeps you making the exact same amount of money. You have to speak it out loud to change that. All right? So you got to do the hard stuff if you want to make that number that you're talking about in 6 months. Have you guys heard that it takes about 10,000 hours to become an expert? Anyone heard that? Yeah? Anyone? You guys heard that before? Yeah. Smart guy said that? And would you be willing to work an hour a day if you could make your goal? Yeah. You guys all? So that would take you 27 years. 27 years. But I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you out right now about that. So I did a bunch of research because we needed to fix this, except for here in Ohio, I guess. Everywhere else, we're struggling. So I put together a book. It took me 5 years to put together all these ancillary income ideas for rentals to improve the net income on it. And one thing I found was the easiest and fastest thing to do to improve your net income is to change the way you operate. Simply change the way you operate, you can start making a lot more money, right? So I started with Airbnb in 2015. I started with it, back in San Francisco with the Alcatraz project. I was a guest, and they were leaving me cookies. It was bed and breakfasty thing, snacks and things like that. Some people made my bed and things like that. I didn't want to do that. I love being a guest. I didn't want to do that. So 2015 came out, and Airbnb came up with this different category called business travel ready. And it's just for landlords, basically. You can't share the space. So I said, I'm in, and I started doing some experiments with it. And what I found was it wasn't passive. It was work. I was checking my app and everything. It just wasn't passive. I was busy with it. And then it was scalable, absolutely, but I was putting in more than 2 hours. I was going to have to hire somebody, and I didn't want employees to really scale it up. And you can't sell your Airbnb business. So you may heard, I don't know if you guys heard that, LLCs and stuff. Airbnb says, no, you can't do it. All right? It's considered fraud. So which one do you guys want more, time or money, if you had to choose? Time? Yeah. Time. Yep. So me too. So I said, I know changing the operations is it, but this time is with this Airbnb thing was just wearing me out. So I started experimenting with it and tinkering with it and trying some different things, and I figured it out. I figured out I cracked the code on that, and that's why I'm here. It was having the time for me with the daughters and taking them to school and being in the classroom, even doing a flag duty, or, I was walking kids across. I had time. That's how when I retired, that's what I wanted to do, is be with the family. I was there, let me tell you this, when my oldest daughter, I was picking her up from school, and she was skipping to the car, and she got in, she was pounding. I was like, what's going on, Naya? She said, I got my first kiss today. So I was like, I wasn't there for the kiss. I wasn't there for the guy, but I was right there. She felt comfortable telling me about it. and I heard it before her mom heard it, and we talked about it. We had that type of relationship now. It was really good. This is the one who didn't give me a Father's Day card. Yeah. And then a couple years later, I was in her life, and she told me she dumped Jacob. I was like, Jacob was this guy from high school. I said, why did you dump him? She said, he wasn't enough like you. And I was like, I got that one. I mean, that's because of what I'm sharing with you, because of these furnished rentals. Gave me that life, to be in the classroom, be around the family. That's what I want. Now, if you want to dress well, boats, travel, I know it's going to do the same for you. And I really, that's why I sat next to a guy with broad shoulders on the plane. I was twisted like this 4 hours, but it was worth it because I want to make sure you guys have the same opportunity and you have a great market. We're going to share with that. Here's the status report. Well, first I got to ask you this. I want to save you some time, but I don't want to worry about my speech and everything. I just want to coach you guys. Can I just start coaching you? Yep. I can drop. All right. You guys can relax? Yeah. All right, good. Good. So here, I'm going to bring you up to speed. COVID hit, travel stopped, except for essential workers. Okay? Travel froze up. And then there's article after article after article saying month-long stays is climbing, month-long stays is successful. It's a bright spot. If you want to stay in business, do month-long stays. And then Airbnb went public and became a publicly traded company, and now their CEO has come out, and every quarter he says, longer-term stays is the fastest growing category. If you want to stay in business, do longer-term stays. So I used to argue with people about which is the most profitable. Is it longer stays or short stays? It was an argument, but now COVID kind of cleared that up. Same with hotels. You can have a hotel takes like 31 people to run it. Extended stay hotels takes 11. It's the most profitable segment in the hotel industry as well. Lower overhead, more profit. Because these are the type of people staying. You got your nurses, and of course, you got engineers and linemen working. You guys want those guys as their tenants? Anyone want them? And then you got doctors and surgeons, and you got contractors, iron workers, and then you got relocation specialists, all looking for longer than 30-day stays. And remember, that goes into a different category here in Toledo. You guys can do both. So which is amazing. Most counties kind of make it really difficult for you to do that. Because here's the thing, because even when travel comes to a complete stop, even if Martians landed, military keeps traveling, right? Essential workers keep traveling. If the recession hits, these essential workers keep traveling, right? Regardless of what's happening, essential workers are going to keep moving. There's always a need for health care and emergency services. Governmental contracts will continue. So that's why I'm trying to bring this to your attention. If you guys see, we got the most profitable segment is the extended stays with the lower overhead. You got essential workers that are traveling regardless of what's happening in the economy. And you can do it right here in Toledo. So I'm trying to bring it into focus. You guys tracking with me? Good? All right. So here's the problem, though. From the traveler standpoint is that, yeah, we're glad to travel sometimes, but there's just not a lot of good options. Because you can stay in a hotel for a week and be okay. 2 weeks, you start going crazy. 3 weeks, you're just like, I'm out of here. You just can't make it feel like home. And loneliness is the biggest issue with these travelers, all right? So there's not a lot of good options. They can't feel at home, and they get lonesome, and that's a big, big problem. And I know because my first extended stay travel as an essential worker was in '95. So I got out of graduate school, and I was going to show them what I could do. I was working for this consulting firm, and they sent me out to Port Arthur, Texas. And I thought, all right, I got a housing allowance, I got a car allowance, I got a meal allowance. This is great. And I was single at the time. So I get out there, and the place smells like sulfur. It was like a refinery town. I couldn't really breathe at all. I was just feeling that brought it really in. That brought in claustrophobicness. And then I started staying at the extended stay, the Holiday Inn Express, and I stayed there for the first week. It was okay. Second week, people were moving my stuff around, and I was getting irritated by that. And then I had nowhere to cook. So I go out to these, I like mom and pop places whenever I travel. You know, the first thing I did here is when I went to Star Diner. You guys know where that is? I always go, that's my practice to go, but I was going to the mom and pops here, and I was getting a weird vibe from people. I wasn't welcome there, so I felt like I didn't know the land, and I got scared. So it's like I need a place. I don't have my home. You know, I have someone intruding in there. I can't cook. I was feeling miserable until someone called my HR manager and said, we have a place up the street. It's about 20% cheaper than what he's paying, and here's a menu of things he can ask for. And I looked down the menu. I said, I want a bed, I want sheets, I want a TV, plates, and that's it. That's all I want. I just need it very simple, because that's all I needed. And it was a big savings, and I was going to save my food allowance. It was over. That's exactly what I wanted. So that was my first experience. That was before Airbnb, and someone just used the phone. And that still works today. That still works today. You guys recognize any of these? This is the top 10 most popular extended stay hotels. You guys recognize any? See any of them in town? You guys live in Toledo, yeah? You recognize any? Yeah. Which ones? Residence Inn. What's that, RJ? Stay America. Yep. So this came out in the 70s. Residence Inn was the first one by Marriott. They repositioned an apartment building, and then it's been now the hotels, every 1 in 4 that they're building is an extended stay hotel, has a kitchenette in it, all right? Meant for longer stays. This is Toledo. I went through and I picked out what was going on within this area here. Just for the top 10, I see you guys got 2 extended stay Americas, which is the largest hotel for extended stays in the United States. You know, 69,000 rooms. You got Residence Inn by Marriott, and they got Staybridge, which is up and coming mid-level. Home 2 Suites is by Hilton. That was, they're trying to get hip to Gen Y. They put out that product to compete against Airbnb. They were surprised when the amount of money Airbnb was making would dwarf them in 2008 or so, past what Hilton was earning. And then Home 2 Suites is another one by Hilton. It's their higher end product for the baby boomers. You guys have 2 of them here. And then Talon's Place, another version for Marriott. And Wood Springs is more affordable. What do you guys think? Are those companies nonprofit? Why are they here? They're here to make money. So, do they know what they're doing? Do you think they're viable? You think they just did this out of random? No, they're here because the market here is viable, and this is my proof. Okay, and then they post their numbers. If you go to Google Maps, they post their numbers, nightly rates. Okay, are those the highest rates that they have or the lowest? Yeah, the lowest, most affordable. All right? You guys, we all tracking? You guys, we got to be on the same page here. So they're telling you what people are actually paying. There's no guesswork whatsoever. This is it, what people are paying. So I picked a number, Extended Stay America. I picked a number, $88 a night. There's a lot more than that. Some lower end hotels. I don't want you guys to go to the lower end ones. They typically track on the government or the General Service Administration rate, whatever the government per diem is. That's where Extended Stay America, they try to be right there. So they said $88 a night, and I said multiply that by 30 to get a monthly rate. All right? I do that right, engineer? I did. He's with me. I just multiply the nightly by 30 to get a monthly. You checking my work? And then Then, he's not looking at me. Then, my research said that you can get a really nice one-bedroom for $99, but someone here said you can get a two-bedroom for $800, high eights. Okay, so this is conservative. Mr. Moody said that. This is conservative. I'm saying, you guys all with me? I'm just taking a regular number, mid-range, and I'm taking a very nice one-bedroom, and there's a $1,646 difference between the two markets, between the rental market and the hospitality market, that you guys are driving past every day. Every day. That'd be 5 of your rentals, the difference if it's $500.
How do you get those numbers?
I just picked them from here. I picked the general.
How do you get those numbers, like, in the hotels? Is that like
She's asking me, how do I get these numbers from, I'm saying this for the people online. She's saying, how do I get this numbers? You go to Google Maps, and it'll put this up for you. Okay? So that means that this rental market is 62% cheaper than the mid-level hotel for extended stays. Could you guys use a little bit more money? Are we here for cash flow? I want to make sure we're on the same page. I'm showing it to you, yes? Is there any guesswork? Any errors with my numbers? No.
Only thing you haven't mentioned is those small motels.
Oh, we'll get there. I'm showing you the safe ones that the essential workers go to. We don't want to get into the people who got displaced. They go to them too, but we don't want to get into that. But there's a lot higher end ones like Home 2 Suites and Residence Inn are in your market. I just picked Extended Stay America. That's a lot of money, yes? That's equivalent to 3 rentals at least. Yes, sir.
Those guys are also our competitors.
They're also your competitors. Well, we're going to talk about that because I think you can kick their butts. I don't think they stand a chance, and we're going to talk through that. You know, Henry Ford, I love this saying. He says the market is never saturated with a good product. You guys got a lot of extended stays, but it's very quickly saturated with bad ones, and you can't. There's night and day difference. I'm going to point that out to you guys. So here's the solution. Remember, loneliness is the issue. Not having a place to call home for these essential workers who are being paid by their employers to be there, and they're going to be there in a recession or not. Okay? Martians land or not, there's still going to be healthcare workers traveling. COVID or not, essential workers are moving. So the thing is to create a place that feels like home. You guys repeat that, feels. Because if you can do that, the word feeling is key. You don't have to spend a lot of money to create a feeling. That's the thing. You got to do some things. Like I'm staying at an Airbnb just down the street. They have everything there for me. They got air fryers. It's a little basement place. It's not real fancy, but she's got every little thing there for me, so I feel at home. So you got to do this, make them feel at home without them spending their entire housing allowance so they can pocket some money. Because that's why they travel. They're traveling to get promoted. They're traveling to pay off their student loans and they take extra money home. You guys all follow that, right? You got to stay with their self-interest. If you can create a feeling at home without them and stay within their self-interest, and I'm going to show you how to beat them, you can take customers from these hotels. Absolutely. There's some more tricks to it, but we'll get into that. I just want to give you guys the whole background on where I'm going. All right. So there's 3, and if you want to do it quickly, I got 3 things for you to do it. If we wanted to a slower approach, you guys want to do the fast way or slow way? Which one? Okay, I'm going to do this. I'll stay with this. We'll talk more on Saturday. You guys coming Saturday? I can break this down more. I want to show you how to get more of the money. But you guys well, I'll ask you again. You guys aren't nodding your heads or anything on me. All right, so the first secret is how do you know this is going to work? How do you know for sure? How much research should you do? All right? How do you know that it's good for workforce rentals? Workforce rentals that essential workers go for, the people that you want it to. That's what the engineers, project managers. Anytime you see those concrete buildings tip up for Target? You guys seen those? The concrete buildings, you guys don't have those? You guys don't have like big Walmarts come and set up? Every big box, every time that happens, there's a whole fleet of IT professionals needed that's staying for 3 months. Okay? You got to be findable for them every time something like that happens. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. And then how do you find a place, and then how do you furnish the place, because those are costs, right, without using any of your own money? You're getting it. Without using any of their own money, that's what we're going to talk about. Because if you can do that, then it opens it up to the access that money between the two markets. If you can have, now that takes away your excuses, yes? All right. And then, how do you keep the place filled? Because you can do all the first two, you know it's right, and you can furnish it, have nice stuff, big old Keurigs, coffee makers, and TVs, but you got to get it filled, right? How do you get 95% occupancy? How in the world do you do that without going crazy? Now, remember, making money and the wear and tear on your family is something you got to take into account. I recommend it. I learned the hard way that you need to pay attention to your relationships as you're making money. So how do you do this and not strain your family, not take up all your time? That's where we're going. Sound good? All right. So the first one is, how do you choose a market? How do you know that's a good fit? Well, I was talking to Rochelle, reached out to me because she had an issue. She said, Al, you coach some of my friends, and we have, they're doing great, but my best friend has breast cancer and terminal, and her best friend asked her to keep her daughter's gymnastic lesson, one's gymnastic, one's ballet lesson. She asked Rochelle to cover the cost of those so that they would have something to look forward to. And Rochelle flips houses, so her income is up and down. She has some good months and she has some tight months, but now she's got this steady bill on her now. So she asked me to help that, and she says this cannot fail, cannot fail. And she said she's had some issues before. She started some things and couldn't get them done. So I said, okay, let me check your market first. She's in Reno, Nevada. And I looked at Reno, and it had 5 of the top 10 extended stay hotels in there. You know, it's got Wood Springs, yep, it's got Home 2 Suites by Hilton, and it's got Home 2 Suites by Hilton, and so Hilton knows what they're doing. They've been at it for a while, yes? And then they had Extended Stay America, the largest, most successful extended stay chain there, and then they had Woodbridge in there. So what do you guys think? Is this market viable for longer term stays? Is there any question about it? Now, if one of them was there, let's say there was 2 Home 2 Suites, that'd be one thing. But if you got Home 2 Suites and their competitor analyzes the market and it says, yeah, it's viable, a different brand comes in, it doubles down and says, yes, it's viable. And then a third brand comes and says, yes, it's viable. So these guys spend $22 million on each one of these hotels, okay? They have PhDs, they have models, they have contacts with the city, they know projections for what the economy. If all these brands come in there, what do you think? Is there any question? Yeah. It's viable. Okay? Now, for us engineers, the key is, for us engineers, is to accept that Hilton knows more than us. That they may know what they're doing better than us. That's kind of a check on it. We got to be a little modest to say, yeah, okay, they've been at it, they know what they're doing. I can just accept their findings and move forward. Okay, so I said yes to Rochelle because that's it. If these extended stay hotels are in your market, if they've done all this research, if they bet their $22 million, if they have 200 rooms and more, okay, and there's multiple brands in it, then that's a go signal. Do you really need to do more research? Do you really need to do a lot more research? You just need to drive the parking lot, yeah? And that's it. You drive the parking lot, you see which brand that you think you can compete against, and if you can accept that at their rates that they're publishing, then you can go. You can start, you can go to the next step. You don't have to keep doing research. All right. You know, when we were in grade school, right, they said, keep your eyes on your own paper, right? Don't copy, don't pass notes, don't do anything. But in the real world of cash flow, you copy what works.
Yes.
You don't have to make the same errors. You just look what works and copy that and save yourself all the time. They're showing you, I showed you your market, just copy what they're doing and do it better. All right, so she says, I want to deal with business travelers, not tourists. I want to travel. So, okay. I said, follow the 6 steps. They work. Here's the program. And she says, well, I start things and I don't finish them and I get distracted. So I said, okay, let's do it all on video. You're going to be on video. I'm going to be on video. We're going to keep tabs on you. So she said, yeah, okay, because this has to work. So she would email me different questions, and I'd get back to her, and she's the one who coined this. She says, Al, you're like having a GPS in my pocket. You know, email, because I'm quick to respond. So she's the one to coin email GPS, because I like to, because you need answers at the speed of implementation, right? If you go and ask about extended stays to someone who does short stays, Airbnb, they're going to give you a different answer. And that can cost you. They'll pull you in that direction, and we're trying to stay in the direction of extended stays. It's a completely different business. One's really game for tourists, and the other one's for travelers. Even, well, I don't want to get into it. I'll get into that Saturday, the differences in there. So she got this place. This is in Reno. It's just outside Hot August Nights, which is a car show. Where's my friend who does classic cars? Where was he selling his car? Have you heard of Hot August Nights? Yes. Yeah, big old thing. So she was just outside of Hot August Nights in that realm. So she knew she could, if all failed, she could grab Hot August Nights and make some money. And then she did real simple furnishing. Now this is the key here, is to do simple furnishings. You can't watch HGTV and see how they do things, because they tell you about how much money they're making. They don't talk about how long it takes to break even. Real companies have to break even. Would you guys consider that you're not profitable until you pay back your startup cost? All right? So you have to, the real talk is you have to do this on a budget. If you want free money that's available to spend, then you got to stay on a budget, and you can't get everything you want. You have to make some decisions. So she went to consignment stores, got some simple stuff. She borrowed a bed, got a new mattress, keeping her expenses down, all right, so she could break even quickly. And here are her numbers. She found a transportation supervisor who's doing some road work. She found by talking, okay? We have some scripts. She used those, and she was just talking wherever she went about what she was doing. She got connected with him. Then she said, well, how much should I charge, Al? I'm paying the landlord $850, and should I charge him like $1,700? I said, no. She's like, oh, well, how much should I charge him? I said, he's getting like $100 a night, a housing allowance per diem. And she's like, no, I don't want to gouge him. I don't want to be greedy. I'm like, Rochelle, you gotta charge him at least over $2,000. She says, no, I don't want to be that. And I'm like, it was round and around by email. I was like, you got to be coachable. You got to be coachable, because I live this life. I know it. So at least do $2,100. She says, okay, I'll ask him. She didn't want to, and he snapped it up, because he's pocketing $900. Okay? That's another reason why they will always leave the extended stay if they can get more for less, because they can pocket tax-free money. All right? So she pays her expenses, her Wi-Fi, landscaper. She pays a little insurance for tenant insurance. And that leaves her what? $900 on something she doesn't even own. $900 just speaking it into existence, talking to the landlord, talking to this person, putting it together. Okay? That's about speaking into existence. So let's look at this a little closer. Who's making more money? Is it the landlord or Rochelle? Rochelle.
Is the owner paying taxes and insurance?
Yeah, we're diving right in there. Yeah. Rochelle is. And then if you pull it, most likely, I don't know for sure, but we know he's paying taxes. We know he has to pay insurance to the landlord, right? So he's an out-of-state landlord. That's one reason he agreed to it. And at best, except for Ohio, except for Toledo, at best, because you really should be putting aside money for reserves too, right? Or you're fooling yourself. So using the most optimistic numbers I can get, say 150, is really what he's netting. Rochelle's netting $900. If he was doing what Rochelle was doing, he'd be making over $1,000. That's 7 times with the same property. Just changing what he does, speaking it, telling people what's going on, creating a home feeling for an essential worker. You guys all tracking? You guys see where the money is right here? If you want cash flow, I'm showing you exactly how to get it. That's 7 times net. So now she's got money. She's got money for ballet lessons and gymnastic lessons. We were celebrating that. I told the story when she was in the audience. She was right over there. And she was crying. The audience was all crying and cheering her on. And one of my mentors was in the audience. He says, you got to get this on video. You know, we have a crew here. Let's go and while she's here. And while we're getting ready to put it on video, she says, Al, I don't know if I want to give you a testimonial. I'm like, well, what? She's like, you told me that you can do all this for free, and I was so stressed about the money. It was stressful coming up with the $4,000 to do all this in the first place. I almost didn't do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on that. I have all this engineer talking to me. I'm speaking over her, you know, making it complicated. It's not that complicated. So I said, okay, if I figure out how to explain it, will you? And she says, yes, okay. So I'm going to make sure that you guys understand, because that's part of the deal, is how to do that. So was that helpful, just that case study? You guys see your spot, how you could do it as well? Can all of you guys move your tongue and talk? That's exactly how you create the cash flow. You're solving a problem. You know, Elon Musk says you get paid to the degree that of the complex problem you solve, right? That's how much your reward is. You're solving some issue. You're solving an issue for an out-of-state landlord. I know there's a lot of out-of-state landlords here, right? I know there's a lot of Californians investing in Ohio. I know that for sure. And you're solving a problem for them, and you're solving a problem for an essential worker, and it's right there. Doesn't that feel good? Everyone loves you except for these extended stay hotels. They're the ones who are not going to like you. Okay, so let's go on to this next one, the second key to it. This is really important. So how to do all this without the money. Because that's going to, oftentimes that's telling us in our head, oh, I don't have the money to do this. I shouldn't do anything. I don't have the money to do this, and I'm going to end up being in the same spot again next year and the year after because I don't have the money. Okay? So let's break that right now. You guys with me? How to do this how to furnish it and find it, okay? But first, I got to show you the backstory. Why extended stays? Why am I so bent on that? Because I did an experiment. So I'm going to show you a graph. Let's let the blue square be gross income and the red star be net income. Which one do you guys care about? You care about gross or net? Net after expenses, right? Because that's what you can really use, the net income. All right? So here's this graph. This line here, this axis, workload, is kind of like pain per turn, pain per day. It could be like every time you do a turnover, you need to go and inspect behind it. You need to make sure the codes are right. You need to make sure people didn't do any damage, make sure it's right for the guests coming in, right? So the more of those, this kind of takes up your time. Is your time free? It's at least a handyman, right? Every time you do something, you should be charging yourself at least a handyman fee, right? Otherwise, you're fooling yourself. You think that you're profitable, but your time is just being eaten up. So in here, for workload, in California, we like to do less work. How about Toledo? You guys like this way? Doing less work is good in this graph. And then net income along the vertical axis. So we like, I'm sure you guys like more net income, yes? Is good? So being here is what the goal is. That's the best spot in this graph. That's how you read this graph. So in 2015, I set aside one of my 2-bit, 1-baths, and I said, I'm going to take out, no matter what I do, I'm going to have to pay my insurance and mortgage and taxes. So let me take all that out and normalize this. And a regular landlord, I wasn't paying the electricity or wasn't paying any maid service or extra taxes. So my net is going to be the same as my gross. Okay? And then I started, 2015, I started with Airbnb, and I did 3 stays. And I was just like, man, look at this. I got $1,000 more for that 1 unit. This is great. I was loving that. And that's my revenue. And then I did my math. And I was writing in my blog at the time. I was like, okay, I had to pay a little bit of taxes. And I really should have had some extra insurance because I was doing business activity. I wasn't doing landlord anymore. So it came down to $1,475, and that's still good. That's still really, really good. So I said, okay, this is good. But then a burning bush thing happened. It was like a God moment happened. I got a request for a 1-month stay. I said, because this right here was good money, but it was taxing on my family. Because I had to, first I would go home, I'd check in, and I'd go check on the rental, and my family just hated that. Hated it. So I drive home from long commute, and I sneak over to check out my place, and then I go home, and they hated that. So I was like, okay, let me just do a month-long stay. I don't have to go over there now. So I gave a little discount and got a month stay, and my net income was $410, and I was writing that in my blog. I was doing my numbers. I didn't have to pay taxes anymore because I had no transient tax. I was going over a month. So I was doing like month-to-month landlording, yeah? So I was like, okay. I looked at the numbers, and I'm like, that's about the same number. I said, holy Toledo, that's about the same number. I've been waiting to say that. Holy Toledo. I'm like, this is great. I mean, I didn't have less work on me. There's a difference, but, we were in marriage counseling. It was just getting eaten up by marriage counseling, the extra profit. So I'm like, let me just do month-long stays. So I optimized my whole thing for longer stays, and I got a travel nurse who was staying a month, 3 months, 13 weeks. And I looked at that, and I was like, this is great. I don't have to go over there for like 3 months or so. And as I was doing that, I was like, I can spread my monthly startup costs, because I got my startup costs, I can spread it out over three months now, okay? So it means my expenses went down, okay? So my expenses goes down, what happens to your net income? So yeah, it turned out, when you account for your time, and you look what's going on, that it's more profitable to do extended stays than it is to do 3 turns in a month for me. I'm like, this is great. And that is how I figured it out. And I figured out there's less competition, fewer people managing their calendar. It was just wide open for me. Okay? That was cool. The big differences of what I'm talking about, these workforce rentals, is there's hardly any activity at all. Maybe monthly versus shorter stays is a lot more. And then shorter stays, you like to hit for bids. You like to pack them in. But extended stays, nope, it's going to be one rate. It's going to keep it. And there's low competition. Few people are managing or even going after longer-term stays. So it's wide open for me. And here's the big thing, is these longer-term stays with employers, employer pays. It's a completely different person. They're relaxed now. They're not nitpicking at every little thing, okay? They're more easy to work with because their employer's paying for them, and I'm creating a savings for them, right? So we're in the same alignment now versus if it was really high, they were white glove me, okay? So that's a big, big difference. And there's no potential for parties because they're accountable to their employer. So those are some of the big differences with longer term stays. So that's why I call it Goldilocks, because everyone's doing these 1-year stays. That's traditional landlording. And so many people there, they fixed the market, profits are skinny. And then you got regular Airbnb, everyone's doing that. They know 1-2 night stays. So many people are jumping on that bandwagon. And then I found in the middle, Goldilocks, hey, there's a huge profit, is a lot more profitable than that, a lot more profitable than that, is less work, less competition. Goldilocks. That's what I call it. Just right. Okay. Here's what I promised you. How do you do this? How do you secure a place and furnish it without using any of your own money? Can all you guys do that? Can you guys? It's almost like an investment banker, right? So we're going to be talking about this Saturday. I hope you guys come, because we really got to talk about how an investment banker would tackle all this. How much money of their own money does an investment banker use on different deals? You guys all with that? He said 0. Would you guys all agree? They don't use any of their money. They borrow everything. They take it from low use to higher use, and they grab the margin. Okay? So it's not begging. It's not begging. You have to just shift your thinking about money a little bit. We're going to be talking about that Saturday. We're going to talk about how to tackle all this without using your money. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is control a dwelling. You got to talk to somebody. Okay, if you have a place, please do this in your own rentals, please. If you don't, if all your rentals are filled, then talk to another landlord. All right? You got to speak it. But now there's many ways to control a property. You can control it with a mortgage, right? If you have a mortgage on your property, who owns it? The bank owns it. You don't own it. You got to get that through your head. You don't own it. If you get a master lease on a property, who owns it? Yeah, person on deed. You don't own it. Still same, yes? For cash flow. It's exactly the same as from cash flow. But actually, it's a little bit better from cash flow because who owns the maintenance? The owner. So it's better from cash flow if you lease. Then you control by lease option, right? Control property. And then you control property by subject to financing, yes? And then you can control it by a joint venture. Share some of the upside with the landlord, right? You guys all tracking? There's a lot of things you can do. It's not just rental arbitrage. There's a big toolkit. You can just say, I'm the manager. You can come at it that way. Let me manage your property for you. Right? Control it that way. Unofficial manager. You can come as a caretaker, Mr. Green Jeans. Let me fix this thing up and make sure that it's taken care of while you're away. And I'll rent it out and I'll take care of everything. See all these ways of tackling it? So there's a lot of tools in it. Have you guys heard of rental arbitrage? Yeah, it's a lot bigger than that. It's a lot bigger than that. There's so many more things you can do. There's a lot of seniors transitioning to care facilities, yes? Their kids are all over the country. They have a furnished house. They need cash. You can solve those problems if you just kind of open up your thinking. You can do it all for free. All for free, just talking. Okay, so you control a place. There's lots of ways to control it. Yes, we're all on there. Then, here it is. You create an investment. Did you know you guys could create an investment? You just bring the deal to the private lender. You can work with someone's self-directed IRA. You can work with small dollars. You could put $1,000 to use from someone else. You can put them to use, create a great investment for them, and just a straight IOU. There's a whole bunch of things. You don't want to create a security. You just want to create an investment. And then you advertise it. Now you have a furnished rental, okay? Because you bought the furnishings, you got the place. How much have you spent so far? If you pay for the furnishings from the private investor, how much have you spent so far of your own money? None. Then you market it, okay? Online, offline, and social media. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk a lot about that on Saturday. We'll break all this down. There's too much for me right now. Then you're going to attract a traveler. A what? Traveler, not a tourist. We're going after the travelers. And then you have their money, and you pay your investor, you pay your landlord, you pay yourself if you're the landlord, you pay everyone, and what's left over is for you. All right? Is this money, do you think this money is backed by the U.S. government? Is this money any different than if you own the property? This money can send your kid to college. It can fill up your retirement account. It can buy you a car. It can buy you a tummy tuck. Whatever you need is there for you. Has nothing to do with ownership, right? Income, this net income is the difference between income and expenses. Income and expenses doesn't matter. Cash flow is income and expenses. We're all on the same page? Has nothing to do with ownership. Wealth building does, but cash flow, let me ask you this. Show me employees, this kind of quick hands, so I can see you. Okay, how much can you sell your job for? How much can you sell your job for? Nothing. 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 So why not, I was going to say you're being arbitraged because that's too cruel, but you are being arbitraged by your boss. They pay you one number, they charge out a different number, they get the difference, yes? So instead of you, if your boss can arbitrage you, you can arbitrage. You can create your own spreads, okay? And replace, since you can't sell your job, replace it with something that you can sell. You can sell a business. Are we on the same page? Okay. So all the scripts for that, I have all, that's the easy part. I have all that for you guys. I'm going to share with that in a little bit. It's all in a resource library. All this is all panned out. I take people through this all the time. Okay, the hard part's the marketing. And also getting it through your head. Well, let me tell you this. Getting it through my head that I didn't have to own everything. That's why I'm hitting this so hard. And this is why I was telling Rochelle, she didn't have to own everything. She could work with a private lender. But I don't want to, you have to speak it into, you got to speak cash flow into existence. You got to get over yourself to help my lenders know that they're losing money for inflation. They need an investment to keep their money growing. You want to keep your money pregnant, yes, private lenders? You want to keep your money pregnant. You want that velocity. Yep. Yep, frequency, velocity banking. With such small numbers, you can accelerate, like if someone gets a $500 interest, you can loan it to these guys, they can use that $500, and now you get that velocity now. That's where that comes into play. And that's a huge help to a lender, private lender. Okay? Here's Tim. He's in Appleton. He said, Al, if I can make 4 figures in 30 days, then I'm going to leave you a testimonial. And here it is. This is before COVID. He's got 4 of them now. I think he's coming to one of my trainings in Sacramento. Yep, within 30 days, he's able to make that spread. You're looking for an imbalance in the market, right? Between the hospitality industry and the rental market. Looking for a big imbalance. You guys have a huge imbalance. I usually say, I just wrote a book saying if you can have 50%, if your rental market is 50% of the hospitality industry, it's a go. You guys have 65% difference. It's nothing to even think about. We're going to get into that on Saturday. Okay. How are you guys doing? This helpful to you? Can you see yourself doing this and changing your cash flow situation? If it doesn't cost you anything, how many of these, we said there were $1,600, right, difference? How many of those do you need to do to replace your salary per month? Just think about that. Not many? Is it doable? Yeah, that's why I'm excited about being here with you and sharing this with you, because this changes people's lives completely when they get this. All right, you guys ready for number 3? Let me take a drink of water. Okay, so how do you keep it filled? This is the hard part. This is the hard part. We need more time on Saturday. Can you guys come on Saturday so we can break this down? I want to show you I'm going to show you 2 ways to retire I'm going to say 2 ways to get $10,000 per month in less than 2 years. Okay, that's what we're going to do on Saturday. Would that be of interest? All right. Without using any of your own money? Which means, what I'm saying is, you don't have to work 30 years to retire. That's the old way. You don't have to do this complete. You guys have a choice now, because I'm going to share with you the plan. All right, so how do you keep it occupied? So I was showing you this for online, offline, and social media marketing, but it's really my proprietary three-legged stool. This. People would argue with me, this is all you need to do. All you need to do is online. We had arguments and arguments until COVID hit. And then they didn't know how to market for themselves. They're waiting for Airbnb to send them somebody, and they didn't know how to do it, so they had to go out of business. Okay? But there's offline techniques and social. Let's get right into it so you see. Yeah, online, absolutely. You're paying a commission typically. You got Airbnb, absolutely. They're the biggest online travel agency for this. You got to do that. VRBO is number 2. And then you got have you guys heard of Furnish Finders? Anyone here of Furnish Finder? Yep, they're in there. You got to pay them a little bit, annual fee. And then you got these other techniques for advertising online. Think of it, you pay a little commission. Hang on, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put it all together. Oh, no. Yeah, you can take a picture of that. I'm going to go to the next one. I thought I had a summary slide, but I don't. Okay, here's offline tactics. This is the real world, the three-dimensional world. This is when you get up behind your computer and you talk to people. This is where the action is. Remember, I shared with you someone made a phone call to my HR department? Where are all the HR departments online? Where can you find an HR manager? LinkedIn. They're happy to hear from you. So we got a bunch of techniques here. Even when COVID was going on and people were empty, people in my community, we would put up a sign and say, do you need to isolate? And fill their units with it. Just right from neighbors. Okay, there's lots of techniques. We share them all the time. You know, recognizance. That's driving the parking lot of these extended stay hotels, and you see a white fleet vehicle, right? These white fleet vehicles are right there. You just give them a call. And word of mouth. We're going to go over these techniques on Saturday. And then social. No one wants to do social. I don't want to do social, but it's really, really important. Let me ask you this. Anyone buy things from Amazon? Yeah? And if you're going to buy something, what's the first thing you do? What do you read? You read the reviews, yes? Okay, so say there's 2 products. Say two cups. 2 cups. One of them has 10 good reviews and one of them has none. Which one do you buy? The 10? Okay, what if 2 cups, one of them has 1 good review and the other one has none? Which one do you buy? So it's down to 1 piece of social proof. 1 piece of social proof means that if someone's going to send you $5,000 or $6,000, they got to research you. You got to have some evidence, okay? So that's what we're talking about, creating social proof and using these. I don't recommend TikTok, but a lot of people have a lot of success with that. And I'm just talking about some very simple things. Again, you got to use once people come to you, what do you share? You share your one-page website. You don't send them to Airbnb once you find them. And same with offline. You got to have that one-page website to send them to. You don't send them to Furnish Finders. You don't send them to VRBO or anywhere. That keeps them shopping, right? You have to send them something. So back here, you guys have a resource for a free website, yes? So you got to have a website. But there's a strategy to it too. The setup to it is really, really important. Okay. Because who needs this? Military needs extended stay rentals, yeah? Absolutely. I don't care. What happens if from recession? Does that stop? They don't. Right. Well, how would you like that if your business kept going in a recession? Yeah, you have recession-proof. That's all right. You can build a business around that. That's different. They're not worried about inflation, so adjust it. And then corporate rental people, corporate housing folks, Absolutely need it. And then political campaigns. I think Ohio is kind of famous for political activity, isn't it? Yeah. So petitions and stuff, those guys send a whole crew out. These are the people that I've housed so far, the categories. They send a whole crew out, stays for a month while they're driving petitions, a month, 2 months. Political activity. I found out that if you want your own NASCAR pit crew, you have to be apprentice for someone else's NASCAR pit crew. So they stay out for, that guy stayed with me for 3 months. COVID happened, people got out of shape. There's a big rush on trainers, and they do immersions. So there's lots of trainers that are out and about. That demand for that trainers has really exploded. International travelers, right? They need extended stay rental when they're in town. They need furnished rentals, safe ones. And then, you know, California has a lot of fires caused by the unmaintained power lines. So all these journeymen fled our area, and they bring their family, their dog. Who do you think gets paid more? Journeymen or travel nurses? Nope. These guys get paid more. Nope. They had surge pay for a little bit during COVID, and they were doing pretty good, but that's gone away now. And they're back in the nicer areas. They cut their housing allowance. In areas that are not so nice, they increase it. They play that little game with them. Construction workers, and then medical. So there's more medical, but you got travel, healthcare professionals, right? And then you also have medical students that travel 1 month at a time from January through December, all looking for that. So that's an opportunity. Medical students will live with each other, but you can't mix it. You can't have a medical student and someone else. You have to have all that. So these are people that are traveling for business, but there's another category, there's another slides of people who have to travel, take care of loved ones, or their house has a fire, they got displaced. That's another whole slideshow. And then people who want to travel, there's a lot of seniors traveling and working remotely and consulting. There's people who want to travel too, but there's a lot. So there's a lot of opportunities to market, isn't there? You know, so what happens if you're focusing on international travel and that slows down? What do you do? RJ, you said what? Switch, yeah. You pivot. This is the thing. A lot of Airbnb folks will just sit there and wait for Airbnb to send them somebody, and they'll just take a vacancy. Now, my approach, you don't take vacancies. You pivot. All these things, I've already figured out all the marketing for this. Every one of these categories and more. It's already there. So if you knew how to market to political campaigns or into construction workers and the military just not looking at Airbnb. They have their own websites, and these guys have their own tactics and their own things. But if you knew all these, how would you feel? How risky would it be to borrow money and set this up? If you knew how to keep your place filled, would you feel is that more risky or less risky knowing this? Less. If you have all the first you need to know to switch and fish in a different pond. You don't sit there and wait for Airbnb to ask you to give you someone to dance with. Okay? So I put all that, I have something called marketing school that I keep studying it and keep adding it because the way you market tomorrow, it's got to be different than today. It's going to be a different technique. So I want to keep folks ahead. I love this saying is if you give someone a fish, right, you feed them for a day. If you teach someone to fish, that's the business I want to be in. That's my legacy. Teaching people how to do this is what I'm all about. It's the most exciting thing that I did. In fact, I was at my mastermind group for myself, and they're like, well, Al, what do you need some new goals? You know, you need some new goals because you hit all those. And I was like, you know, what got me fired up is you guys know who John Madden is? No? Yeah? I said, I want to be the John Madden of coaching people through this. I want to be the best in the world, focused on that. That's what fires me up, seeing that happen. I can do that all day. Oh, landlords, this is a gift for you. Thank you for staying. So this is in my one bit, one baths. I said, you know, a traditional rental was $1,100 per month, regular. And then a corporate rental means you have a washer and dryer and everything you need in your unit. If you don't have it, everything you need is called a service apartment, if you don't have a washer and dryer in your unit. So thanks to the RV industry and everything, these portable washer and dryers have come a long ways. You just need a regular outlet like this, all right? You don't need 220 anymore. And here's this. Let me walk you through this. Do any of you guys use a hairdryer? Yeah? Do you have to vent it outside after you're using your hairdryer? No? Okay. This is a bigger version of the hairdryer. You don't have to vent it outside. You don't have to cut a hole in the wall. You just plug these things in, and you start making money. You can, if you're a traditional landlord, you plug this in, and you can raise more rent, yeah? Do any of you guys have multifamilies, 5 years or more? What would this do to your cap rate? Raising your rents, right? These things together is $700 at Home Depot, Magic Chef. For the units. Yeah, around $700. Pays for itself in just less than a month. You just hang it on the wall. I just hang it like a bike on the back of a car, and you're up and going. So for me, switching industries, I switch industry to hospitality. I get this, becomes a corporate housing, and it brings in $1,000 more per month. I didn't go buy any more rentals. That's 2 of your rentals just by changing that and adding that for $700.
You're saying that that's a washer and dryer?
This is a washer here, top loaded. I have it off to the side because some people are short. You wouldn't know about that. But some people are short and they can't, I don't want people getting up on a stool. I have done it stacked and dropping on top of each other. That works well. But this combination, when people can, I have it this way because people can do dishes and the light comes in. If I had it stacked, it would block all the light. So that's another reason. Isn't that amazing? This is new technology. I want to make sure you know that. That's kind of the big thing in landlord science. Just spending a little money pays for itself in 20 days. Jeez. I need some applause for that. I need some applause. Because that can blow up your cap rate, the value. That should pay for your time for being here. That. All right. So that's the thing. You just know what people want. Oh, here. Tell me your name, sir. Michael. I want to get back to you. So tell me your name, sister. Cindy. Cindy. So if you were in a fairly nice extended stay hotel, and you're paying your full housing allowance, okay, and then you had a regular apartment that had a washer and dryer in it, extended stays don't have their own washer and dryers. If you had one with your own, and it was 20 to 30% less than allowing you to pocket tax-free money, which one would you choose? You get it? That's why you will always beat the extended stay hotels. That's why they cannot compete against you guys if you try this. It's a no-brainer. They can't do that. You guys can walk. So here's what we have. I want to stack all this together. Is it viable here? No question about it. Viable here. Can you do it? Can you create an investment to do it without using any of your own money? Yes. Can you beat these extended stay hotels? And if you know how to market, can you keep it filled? Yeah. What else do you guys want from me? That's it. You guys can retire. You guys can meet your financial goals. How many you can stack these together to meet your financial goals? All right. So know what people want. Give it to them. They want to make money while they're traveling. And they're going to be traveling. They're essential. All right? So here's a quick quiz. How do you instantly know that the market's a good fit?
Look for the extension.
Yeah, the extended stay hotels tells you without any question. Just be modest enough to accept that they've been doing it for 30 years and they know what they're doing. And then how can you secure a rental and furnish it without using your own money.
Find a landlord that will sublease it. And then ask your mom.
Yeah, sublease or joint venture or all those things, yeah. So yeah, you create an investment. That's an investment for the landlord as well. Then how do you keep it filled? Yeah, you blitz and pivot. You know how to stay that. You don't accept vacancies, all right? So this is what happens. Typically, you should be making $500 per unit or you don't do it. So $500 a month, people get that easily. You guys, I showed you how much you guys, the spread between your markets is well over that for here. We're going to detail that on Saturday. And then they get bored. People get the first one, they get bored, and we talk about, hey, create some digital assets, go do it again. And since they don't have, so the first one, they oftentimes use their own money because they're scared. And then they get in the hang of it, and then they may use it on the second one, but the third and fourth, now they got the hang of it, okay? So I quickly, within a year, people are quickly down making $2,000 a month. I see that over and over again in our community, and Cindy said it's $500 here, so that's equivalent to 4 rentals in a year potentially without any money, and without worrying about the maintenance if you go this direction. Please do it in your own units, though. Is that amazing? This is what I see all the time. That's $24,000 a year. So we've been told money doesn't grow on trees. But you look at this is a completely different thing. That's what we're going to talk about on Saturday. Here's what Easy Corporate Housing did. And we're going to detail this. Is we started just reinvesting. And with this is how you can pull out in 23 months. You can start paying yourself $10,000 per month. Can anyone, is that cover anyone's bills, monthly bills, $10,000? Yeah, 23 months, can you wait? Can you wait there? You got to learn how to do private money. You got to speak it into existence to do this, so. But we did all this on video, so I'll show you that. This is a great saying. It's that if eagles don't teach other eagles how to fly, you know, they just can't. They end up doing what the crows do. They end up doing what the doves do. You know, eagles have to teach other eagles. I love that. That's why I get a lot of mentors. I get mentors. How can a civil engineer be up here? Right? I had to be mentored to get here. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen. That's why we put something called flight school together for that. Hey, so here's the roadblocks. Am I out of time, Anna? Okay. Here's what's got, so we went through all this. I showed you how to make money with no money at all, right? In the viable market here, yes? But the subconscious has the last say. You guys are going to walk out of here, walk past an extended stay hotel, and say, I just can't do that. That works for other people, but it just doesn't, I don't think I can do it. Okay? Here's some roadblocks we want to watch out. Is navigating your ordinances. You guys don't have any ordinances, so you guys are wide open for this. That's not a roadblock here. And getting bookings independent of Airbnb. Now, I want to say you don't want to be overly reliant on Airbnb. You want to use them, don't be overly reliant. Don't be their asset. Okay? Don't be overly reliant. And then this is the big one, self-limiting beliefs. I can't do this. It doesn't work. I shouldn't be up here. I got this funny thing on my head. My teeth don't align. I'm feeling kind of pudgy. I shouldn't be up here, right? That self-limiting talk. If you just reduce your bad chatter, if you just reduce that, you start making more cash flow. Okay? That's why the coaching is so important. Because otherwise, you know, oh man, I'm going to go off track, but you guys, Newton says object at rest, right? Stays at rest. You know, the Bible says without faith you can't please God, right? It goes and then there's even business people say you got to manage risk, not completely avoid it. You manage it. So you got to get over the self-limiting beliefs. That's what's choking your cash flow. And then gathering funds. Oh man, I don't feel like I'm begging. I was taught to be self-reliant. You know, that's the blueprint our parents gave us, and it's good for everything except for cash flow. Be self-reliant except for cash flow. Be interdependent. We're going to be talking about that on Saturday. We're going to be going over the 7 laws of abundance. You guys believe there's abundance? How do you do it? How do you get more of it? We're going to talk about that on Saturday. 7 laws. And then, you know, you could go to YouTube and watch everything about climbing Mount Everest. You can about how to tie the knots, the tools. You climb so high, and there's the oxygen changes. You need different the death zone, right? You can learn all that on YouTube. But how many of you guys would actually climb Mount Everest by what you learned on YouTube? You wouldn't do it. You want someone who's gone up the mountain and come back down to take you, right? That's what mentoring is so important. And it's a little bit different than coach. You guys know who LeBron James is, right? His coaches can't do what he does. His coaches can't do it. They can tell him about it, but they haven't done it. They can't do what he does. So mentoring is a little bit different. It's more important. You want someone who's actually done it to show you how to scale this and then grow it into put you into a CEO and then transition you to a business owner. Okay? So that's why I'm here, because I've done all those things, and that's what I want to share with you. Without you using any money. I don't know how it gets better than that. Okay, so Saturday, Anna says we're going to provide breakfast for you if you come.
We will provide breakfast and lunch.
And lunch. First, we're getting you right into that abundance mode. And I can break down these things in detail. I can take questions. Was this fun for you guys? Yes. It's fun for me. But I want to get into the specifics. I don't want to just be waving my arms. I want you to ask me questions and me defend myself. That's the fun thing. See how deep this is so that you can do it. Even, again, I give you all the facts and you're still going to say, I can't do it. So we have to work on that piece. That's why I need you here on Saturday. Not here, but over at T&L. Right there. Their lovely facility. Okay. So I'm going to give you a decade of learning in a day. A decade of everything that I think is the most important things I've learned in a day. On Saturday. And feed you guys. So, there's some reasons to attend. I think we're going to do some line dancing too, aren't we? We're going to do some line dancing on Saturday? You got room for it? Okay, we're going to have fun on Saturday, so show up. It's really going to be really good. Now, some of you can't attend on Saturday. Can I show you my coaching and training program? Can I give you a quick overview of what I'm going to show you on Saturday? For those who can't attend, I just want to go over this quick. It's called Extended Stays for Landlords. This is where I get a chance to work with people and see the lights come on. And this is where I can, after you get enough passive income to cover your expenses, and then you're just sitting there, it's like as you get older, you want to have impact, right? You want your life to count for something, yes? So coaching is what I do. That's how I can really feel like I'm having impact. So that's what this is about. So here's what you get. You get a kind of overview of how to set up a company, not an Airbnb host, how to set up a corporate housing company, okay? Not try to be a super host. It's a completely different thing. Airbnb has gamified it so that you stay within their control. They penalize you for going and doing it on your own, okay? So you're their asset. You're their vendor. That's not good. And then I showed you about the laws. So that would be the second one, is discover your market's potential. Here it is right here. You guys got tons of proof that it works, and you got tons of the research already here, okay? And you got this big imbalance that you're driving past. Even if you just get half of that, would that be okay? Yeah. Even a third of that, it's okay. You can stack those together and change your life. And then I get checklists for the furnishing. I want you to get the furnishing for free if you can. Be resourceful. Are there any mini storages around here in Toledo? There's people paying for furniture month after month after month. You can provide a solution for them, okay? And if you can't, here's the shopping list I'm going to give you. If you can't, you click on a link and you can buy it from Amazon. You buy what I use, So that's in there. And then how to market. Remember, it's three-legged stool. We're going to have, and there's bear marketing. There's a lot to this. We're going to talk about that on a Saturday. That's and then if you're already an Airbnb host, I think you should transition using medical folks. So I'll give you all the details about travel nurses, what they want, so that you know how you can quickly find them, and you know how to price yourself so that you can attract them. They want you to give them a savings, all right? They want you to give them a savings. Don't take their whole per diem. Stay in line with their self-interest, and you can stay filled. Then, if you know these things, then you can get cash flow without ownership, but please do it in your own rental. But if your rentals are filled, please help someone else. Go rent something else, right? Don't say, I can't do this, I gotta have it, own everything, and miss 2 Father's Day cards, like me, hard-headed. All right, so you put those things together. I'll give you the scripts, the worksheets to figure it out. I love systems, so it's all very systematic, so you can replicate this thing, and then you can just like printing money. At that point, you know it works. You know, that's how we went to 29. I talked to one of my partner landlords. I said, hey, we want to expand a couple. He says, hey, that apartment's coming available at the end of the month. So boom, we're up and going. Found some 8% money, doing it all for free. And I'll walk you through that process on Saturday. Exactly how to do it. I'll give you the flow chart. Let me finish this real quick. But please don't lose that question. Okay, so the real value of that is $997. But information by itself, right? Like climbing Everest, information by itself is not good enough. You need someone to kind of go along with you. That's why we have flight school. And it's going to get you over that roadblock, because it's going to help you work with other folks. You're going to see what other folks can do. It's going to put the pressure on you. Other people are cheering for you on. That's going to help you get over your self-limiting beliefs. And then this group support, that's what you need. You guys see Biggest Loser before? You know, they have a coach and a support team. That's how they get the results. A coach and a support group. You need that. And then I give you daily updates. That's usually in Facebook. So it's a lot of group coaching. And this keeps going. It's an everyday thing. So it's a $2,997 value. And so you got flight school, you got the 6 steps, and then a resource library for all those performance leases and all that stuff that we showed you, how to work with self-directed IRAs. You know, a lot of folks have IRAs that they don't even know where it is. It's just, they lost track of it. So how to help them make money. And then addendums for your leases, you want to have exit clauses and things like that. All the worksheets, the legal work alone is worth more than $3,500. The legal work alone is right there for you. So if it's all stacked together, it's a $7,497 value. But I want to give you some more stuff. I'm going to put it in this format, okay? This right here, extended stays, is kind of the virtual version of me working with you. The Genesis workshop is me physically with you. We're in the same spot, okay? Some immersion things. So remember we talked about Rochelle with quick answers on email, GPS email? I'll give you that 12 months of that for extended stays, and there's no limit if you go through Genesis. And then the one-page website, remember that's really important? Not only the one-page website, but the strategy behind it, and also there's marketing opportunities as well. Say you're marketing really well, and you're booked, but someone is asking you things. You should have affiliate links. There's back-end ways of making money with people you don't even house, okay? So there's a whole bunch of strategies to this one-page website, which opens up the offline and social media for you. You got to have that. So what it's going to be, I'm going to build it for you. I'm going to build it with you, and then show you how to operate, how to use the whole thing. And then it's going to be a sellable asset that you can sell with your business when you exit. So that's why it's a $2,000 value. It's just-in-time training, going back and forth with you, showing you how it works. Okay, and then remember, mentoring is so important. That's why I'm going to do office hours for 1 hour a week, 4 weeks, to answer all your questions, walk you through it. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. Is that of value? I'm going to walk you through the whole thing, answer all your questions. You can use this as a 4-week challenge. This starts next Wednesday. Okay? If you can't make this one, I'll give you the option to start with another group. But the one for Toledo starts next Wednesday. At 7 p.m. your time. Okay? What time? Wednesday at 7 p.m. So you guys should all be home. And we're going to do this 4 times. So that's a $997 value. And then I'll give you the recordings of them as well. And then marketing school, remember I talked about how to blitz and pivot, all those marketing strategies, including that. It's worth a lot more than that. I have the wrong value there, but it's $997. So this helps you stay in front of the vacancy, so you don't just take a vacancy. So all that together is, on this part, is a $14,000 value. Now, the Genesis is where we're going to go in person. The next one is next week in Sacramento, and then Phoenix, and then somewhere on the East Coast on spring. I do this on spring break so I can take my whole family so with me. So, but we're going to do case studies, and there's networking for funding for you, and then everyone gets in the hot seat, and we brainstorm their issue. And then I follow up with you for 30 days. That's me texting you. Did you get it done? What's going on? Me pestering you, okay? So I'm holding you accountable for that. So what would it be worth to have someone who's, I have my 10,000 hours. What would it be worth for me to hold you by the hand, show you how to access your market for free, and show you how to work with private lenders and IRAs, and show you how to market it? What would that be worth? Something? Yeah? Well, I put it down here. I really marked it down. You know on my website, if you guys look me up, you know this part goes without marketing school, without office hours, without the one-page website, it goes for $1997. If you look me up on my website. And then Genesis is it's almost $5,000, $4,997. Okay. Now it comes with a guarantee, so you can look it over for 3 days. If you're not feeling it, just return it. That's it. And then I'm giving you a 110% guarantee. That means if you follow the course and you're not making 3 times what you invested in the course, I'm going to give you all your money back in that year and pay you 10% on it.
You have a question? Are you going to show anything about the exiting?
About exiting? No, I'm not going to show that. No. So the goal is to, he said for online, am I going to show about exiting? No. I'll talk to you about it, but that won't be on Saturday. So we're trying to get to $10,000 per month. Exiting, selling your business. So here's it. The summary is the housing people who are on extended stay work assignments is the key to the passive income that you need for your financial goals without missing Father's Day cards, taxing your family. And that's possible if you go through the 6-step with the information, with a coach, and with the support that kind of makes sure that you get there. That's the winning combination. All right? So special for, this expires on, here's the special, I'm taking $200 off for Toledo RIA until Saturday. Until what? Until Saturday. So this is special for this and for Genesis. We can talk more about Genesis, but let's talk more in the back. I want you guys to, what it looks like in the back is this course, like this. In here is a QR code that's relates to a video, and then 3 steps, and then you're all plugged in. I'll take you from there. Okay? So in the back with Mike, I'll meet you guys back there, and we can talk more. I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to be here all night. All right? Oh, so good seeing you. You can kill my mic. All right.